That's right, ladies. Well, excuse me. We're just gentlemen up in this mug. That's right, gentlemen. It has been 1 week since we have started this league and really played it full through. One competitive week. Even though it feels like we drafted our teams 1 month ago, we've only competed for 1 week, or aka 10 to 11 days in this instance right there, where we got tired of looking at each other's sorry mugs, especially me looking at my foot, your ass, Mr. Red Foreman right there. That's what I can speak from personal experience. Got tired of seeing that. Much of you also out there tired of seeing your peers. But this is a new week, a fresh 7-day week, and 1 day's already in the books for Monday. We're filming on a Tuesday evening right here. We've got 5.5 days left to go in our matchups. Some games have already concluded. We had those early doubleheaders. Thankfully, got to love those. No 7 innings this year. We're going the full 9. Thank you. Finally, a good decision from baseball. Gotta appreciate that, so you're not getting shafted on the ABs going from 18 innings of opportunities down to 14 innings as we saw last year. That really put a damper on some at-bats right there and some fantasy stats, and nobody wants to lose. Gotta say, as we closed week 1, it was, we had some issues with scoring. I want to appreciate you guys out there bearing with me as a first-time baseball commish, or at least the first time in over a decade. I'm bound to make a few errors, but you guys were like, hey, I don't like this, let's fix it. But wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We got this stuff knocked out. So I'm a man of the people. I try to listen to everybody out there except Jaycock. Fuck that guy. Anyways, let's get into our matchups. Our first video matchup preview show. Our first FBBBT for the BFFFL of We Are Those Motherfuckers right there. That's right. So week 2, episode 2. Let's get to it in our first matchup preview show of the year. In our first matchup, we've got a couple of defeated teams, an 0-1 versus an 0-1. We've got Just Here versus the Rob Manfred fan club, the one and only person in that fan club right there. Just Here, obviously, keeping the name Just Here. Is a little upset after draft day, but hopefully those things have been washed away. Maybe we'll see a name change, so he's not Just Here, he's happy to be here, something like that. Maybe, for a wrestling fan right there, I'm just going to throw this out to Savdog. Maybe a young Rocky Maivia where he's just coming out and he's just super happy-go-lucky all the time, even though everybody hates him. But we don't always hate you, just sometimes. Right now, your pitching staff could weather any storm. I mean, you got Woodruff, you got Nola, you got Montas, you got AL Cy Young winner Robbie Ray in Seattle this year, who I thought would not be this good. I'm sure he's going to make me eat my words. While your pitching staff is going to be good this year, beyond good, if you will, in a world where stats are coming down in pitching, your pitching is still going to be top of the line as we expect from you. Unfortunately, your offense couldn't weather an April shower right now. It could be misting right now, and your fantasy team house is going to be leaking offensively. Because looking at that squad, I really saw an Austin Riley, a Nolan Arenado, a Xander Bogaerts, and not much else. I mean, it's slightly better than one other offense in this league that I'm going to touch on later. But right now, I'm not a real fan of what Savdog's got rocking offensively. Do I like those 3 players? Of course. Do I expect them to be able to carry a full team with the addition of 2 roster spots offensively, dwindling the availability on the waivers? That's questionable. Will we see some trades from Savdog? I'm virtually assured of that. Now, going up against Rob Manfred's fan club, I'm looking at the squad, and I'm looking at somebody in particular named the Jesse Winkster right there. All right, we knew he's got a great eye. Wonderful batter right there. Can't hit a lefty to save his life, but he'd crush some righties. Seattle's taking it out of him right now. He is starting off weak. He's not 5 for 33, nothing to beat. Oh, wow, it's just early. No, I'm not buying it yet, Jesse. Going from NL to AL, those pitchers pitch a little bit different, and that ballpark's a lot different than the Great American Ballpark over there in Cincinnati. So I'm a little worried about him. Just as I'm worried about Byron Buxton. I got him pegged at 100 games. If we got any gamblers out there, that's where I'm setting the line at 100 games. Anybody, if you want to take the over, that's on you. I'm taking the 100 and under. We know he's going to have a few more injuries throughout the year just crop up on him left and right. But to compensate for Bucks not being able to be there, he's got Manny Machado, who in San Diego, he's playing like Fernando Tatis Jr. has kind of given him his baseball powers right now. I mean, Manny is top 5 player. He's hitting dingers. He's hitting doubles. He's stealing bases. Manny Machado's playing like he is being paid right now as a $30 million superstar. So if he can maintain this all year and Tatis Jr. gets back and is actually, still fully healthy with that wrist, San Diego's going to be good, and Rob Manfred's going to be real happy. But unfortunately this week, Rob, I don't think you're going to be too happy, because I'm going with the pitching staff squad of Just Here and the Sav Dog to pick up the dub. All right, moving on to our next matchup, we're going to, well, the other winless matchup we have this week, and that is Cletus versus Detective Steve. Now, Detective Steve, looking at your squad, I noticed somebody last night actually did something good, and I'm talking about Cody Bellinger. For the longest time, he had been struggling, and recently, he's put some stuff together. He might be figuring it back out how to play baseball again, which would only make you exuberant, because aside from him, I'm not a real big fan of the outfield. Him and Nikki C, as I mentioned in the love or hate column video that I posted. He's about it right now that I'm liking in the outfield. Not a big fan of Randy A, and not a big fan of the other scrub he got out there starting that I can't even think of his name right now. But I do love Jose Ramirez just holding down that infield right there. I think Trevor Story's going to be fine in Boston. I'm not worried about the NL to AL swap with him like I am Winker right there. Trevor Story is going to do what Trevor Story does. Hit dingers, hit about 265, steal a couple bases, and Boston's going to love him right there. Reese, he's going to be fine. His batting average, it's going to be what it is. And I got to love Jake Cronenworth. Always been a Jake Cronenworth utility extraordinaire, position your eligibility everywhere. Can't be upset about Jake Cronenworth. And I'm sure we're going to get interrupted here in just a moment by two chihuahuas that are going to bark at a neighbor dog, so I apologize in advance. Now, Cletus, looking at your team right there, the best part of, you gave us the best part of week one, man. It was all you, and we owe you a big thank you for that. By posting, bam, my fantasy pro says I'm the #1 squad, and then just getting annihilated by Code Nobes right there. That gave everybody a hearty chuckle. Even the people that got beat this week. I'm sure Rob Manfred, I'm sure Detective Steve, I'm sure Big Ant, and we're all thrilled to death to kind of see that Just Here. At least it gave them some sort of reprise where they could sit back and be like, well, at least I didn't do that one right there. And part of the reason why you're not working out is being a Schwarbaholic right now. He's just not doing it so far this year. I'm not even sure he's batting 100. Started off game one, I think that was 50% of his hits for the season already. One game in, just go ahead and get rid of most of your hits for Schwar, baby, right there. And having 6 guys that play third base, got to say, pretty ballsy move. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Having that kind of eligibility, you can never have enough guys that play third base, and you've got it on lock right now. I'm really intrigued to see how that works out. But how I see this matchup working out this week, though, is Detective Steve picking up a dub. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm going with Detective Steve this week. I think D-Harp's going to get off the snide, and he's not going to start off going 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, or anything like that. Not even 0-2 in my mind. All right, let's go to our last matchup that actually contains a team that did not win last week, and that's going to be Ghostman on second versus I Got 5 on it. Ghostman on second came out the gates blazing, and Cody Nobes obviously appreciates that one right there because he's living the life, the blazing life. What? Just did not expect Billy Baseball to get thumped like that. You put it on him right there. Super impressed. Gotta say, Suzuki, as Billy wrote in his column, which, by the way, was marvelous. Everybody that read it loved it. I read it aloud to B Green as he passed out on my couch last night. What a great Japanese pickup right there. What a good import right there. Can't say anything wrong about him when he's got as many swinging strikes as most people have. Swinging strikes in a game, he's got it all season right there. And plus, having Francisco Lindor looking like the Francisco Lindor again, I'm real fucking pissed off about your team, and I think you got long-term potential with what you got going on it. Fuck that. Plus, you got Nutsack. Hey, love it, love it, love it. And Anthony, you're going up against a beast this week because you started off 0-1 and took us commandingly. At one point in time, I was winning 13-1. Wound up losing 10-4, so I know that's a real heartbreak right there. I'm not going to rub it in anymore. In the message boards, though, I've got an idea of how you feel about your team, and you don't seem too thrilled about it. And looking at it, I can understand why. Because right now, it's really just Max Scherzer, not even Max Fried. Max Fried, he's I don't know what's up with him right now. Maybe he'll probably pull a Chris Medlin at some point in time, rack off 13 straight dominant starts. But then on offense, I see George Spring the Ding, Luis Robert, Mookie Betts. Then what? then really what do you have? I mean, what do you got really supporting your team when those guys have a down week? You're going to bank on Connor Joe week in, week out? Frank the Tank? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. And that's why this week, I still got to go with Cody Nobes to keep it running. And you're going to 0-2. Ghost Man, going to 2-0. All right, that leaves us with 2 matchups to go. And we're going to go next to the Cleveland Assholes versus Mr. Sprinkles. Mr. Sprinkles, Vladdy G. Probably don't need to say anything else about his matchup. He's got Vladimir Guerrero. Last time I checked, anytime Vladimir Guerrero plays a full season, he wins a championship for fantasy purposes on the team that he plays on. Fact check me if you need to. Full season. Christian Yelich shoving my words right down my throat. I'm choking on him right now as I'm mocking him in the love-hate column. He's coming out hitting grand slams right against me, a la Freddie Freeman against the Braves. Just, oh, sorry, you missed. You want to talk shit? Boop. Shove it up your ass. And that's what he did right there. And then, man, that staff, God, I love that staff. Just flamethrowers, live arms, young guns, out the a-hole. Kyle Wright, Carlos Rodon, Tristan McKenzie, Dylan Cease, Corbin Burns. I mean, the list goes on and on. You stacked it up with guys that are going to get a K per 9 that are young guns. Hopefully they don't blow out their elbows because I want to see these guys keep pitching, especially Kyle Wright. Now, Cleveland Assholes, you put up a great fight in week 1 doing what you typically do. Expected a little bit more out of some of your players, a la Brian Reynolds, Yordan Alvarez getting COVID. At least it's out of the way early, I suppose. And with a pitching staff that's just rabble-rousers, just anybody that you can find, scrap, hobos, carpetbaggers, scallywags, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to pick them up and start a game with them and get something out of them. And that's what Cleveland Assholes is going to have to do all year. Because as Billy wrote in his column, it's Verlander, and maybe Jacob deGrom's going to come back with a healthy shoulder. I'll know Monday afternoon, about 3:30 when I get out of school. What's it going to be? Is he going to be fantasy helpful this year? I certainly hope so, but I'm not banking on it. This week, though, I am going to bank on picking up a dub. I think I'm going to beat Jaycock. He talks a lot of shit, especially to me, as the commish. So, Jaycock, I'm about to put it up in you this week, and I do not apologize in advance. All right, our last matchup. Having 5 matchups kind of goes. I'm sorry this video's 13 minutes. It'll be a lot shorter in the future. We got Joe Marshall going up against the Alpha Academy. Joe Marshall putting up the closest margin of victory last week at 8-6. Probably hence why he wanted to jump on the 1-0-0 train right there to have his record equivalent to the others. Just kidding, Rymar. But you put it on just here just fine right there. Looking at your team, I see Jesus Luzardo was I was like, damn, I can't believe I blew it, didn't pick up him, had him on my watch list. He's kind of back to Jesus Luzardo. Just tonight, I'm watching the game. He's already having an ERA that's jacking you up just like Michael Lorenzen did last night. Just boop, 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 boop. Young gun getting obliterated in a start right there. Strong on starting pitchers, right? As I see it, looking at your team, a lot of starting pitchers. You got D. Scalfini, you got Tony Goslin, the men I mentioned earlier. But when it comes to relievers, you're not really going for saves and holds. I see. You'll take them as they come. You're going for some saves with Class A up there in Cleveland. But other than that, I mean, you're kind of just like, hey, I'm about to win all these categories with pitchers. I'm getting innings pitched. I'm getting wins. I'm getting all of it right there. So power to you. Hey, Alpha Academy, let's talk about you. Do you actually have a good team? Is this team actually good? I don't know. After the preview show, when I ripped into it, said it took me so long to find something good. You came out week 1 and you put a dub down on Rob Manfred. So either Rob Manfred might be bad. Maybe you're actually good. Maybe you are, and I'm still confused about that. Just like I'm confused about somebody owning 3 catchers. Now I know one of them is in the NA, but you got Will Smith, the catcher, and you have Sean Murphy, the catcher, right there. That's crazy. That's almost as crazy as the 6 third baseman strategy that Billy has. But who am I to manage other teams? I just like to point things out and make observations. I don't know where you're getting home runs from, unless they're going to start counting the ones that Tyler Mahle gives up as he's pitching, because I'm not seeing a lot of pop outside of Giancarlo right there. He's Fran Mill, when he plays, he'll hit some dingers, obviously. But those are your only two big boppers that I see. You might have a couple guys that knock in 20, 22 dingers, but you need some guys that are going to at least knock 30 other than those two. And right now, I'm not seeing it. What I am seeing, though, and what I am envisioning this week, is a victory for the Alpha Academy. So, B Green, you can say, thank you! Later, since I picked you to win, as did I pick the Cleveland Assholes, as did I pick Ghostman on second, as did I pick Just Here, and as did I pick Detective Steve to pick up dubs here in Week 2 of the Fantasy Baseball League. Gentlemen, take it easy. Have a good week. Enjoy the video. I'll see you next week with another matchup preview show for the BFFFL. Take it easy.